Are you calling me your sacrifice? Whatever, slughead. Slughead. I've never seen the likes of you, but it's time for me to rid this world of demons. It sure feels nice to do good for the world. Oh, I'm playing as Janice? Or am I just watching this? Okay, I'm watching this. I'm watching his move. Come on, Janice. What are you doing missing there? We just, like, take a minute to appreciate Janice's sword. Oh, my word. I love it. I get it. You don't want to be sliced to death, but clobbered to death by my bare hands. Why, I'd be more than happy to take up your request. If there's anything else I can do, please let me know. Oh, now what? You raise your hand to deliver my final blow? Why don't you surprise me? The Dark Spear. It is time to return to your rightful owner. Gah! Janice isn't dead here, is he? Maybe he is. But you never really know with Wild Arms. I don't get it. I don't get it at all. You were the chosen sacrifice from the very beginning. Every time you would swing the Dark Spear, you were gathering energy from the inside. You must have felt the massive life force energy when the Dark Spear pierced the Guardian's altar. That torrent of energy, I know you felt it run through your body via the Dark Spear. With it in hand, you have not become a formidable being. That might be a typo. That sentence is weird. You have been bewitched by the Dark Spear to become the sacrifice. You played an impeccable fool. Alright, so no, the prophets really did have the higher hand in this. I don't really get what the point of, like, oh yeah, I was just using you guys. I don't get what the point of that was, though. So this foolish lapdog was just meant for fodder? You can take pride in knowing that you shall not be slain by the Dark Spear ever again. You could boast about that in the other world. There is no other world. That's why I chose to be the ruler of this world. Are you the ones who have summoned me to this land once again? I am Siegfried. I have returned to wage war on Filgaia and its spawn. Oh, we have our new villain of the next major part. Yeah, this is probably like a next part of Wild Arms 3. Siegfried sounds oddly familiar. People who play Wild Arms 1, that sounds oddly enough like Siegfried was his name, the leader of the Quarter Knights. I wonder if there's some kind of correlation there. Oh, end of chapter 2. Wonder how many chapters are in this game. I'll continue playing. Daddy! Daddy! I finally found you. I finally caught up with you. When was I done with chapter 1? Like, what was the end of chapter 1? I don't even remember. Daddy, wait, don't go. Daddy. What a terrible dream. Why was I pointing my arms at Daddy? Okay, I've reached my daddy quota. I don't say it anymore for the rest of stream. Come in. Sometimes when you get a close look at Virginia's face, her ears look like elf ears. I don't know if that's just me. I need to get another like close look at her 3D model though. Are you ready to go? Everyone's waiting downstairs. Oh no, tell them I'm sorry, I'll be right down. That's a light smile. Kind of a light smile, yeah. Are you sure you're okay? I'm fine. I'd rather be up and about. I love this portrait. This portrait of Virginia is my favorite. My, aren't we spunky? Well, hurry on now. They're all waiting to see you. Okay. Okay, no, her ears are like round, but sometimes at certain angles they look like elf ears. I shouldn't worry about that dream I just had, right? Ah, it's probably fine. Level 36. I don't even know when I was done with chapter 1, by the way. I wasn't even aware I was in chapter 2. And the game's just like, oh, end of chapter 2. The chapters are probably like hidden, like all the other, like most other games. Sorry to keep you waiting. Like Grace's has 8 chapters, but the game doesn't tell you. I think the game divides the chapters and graces by saves. Like, if it asks you to save your game after a big event, that's the end of a chapter, but it doesn't, like, outright tell you. Actually, no, there's 9 chapters, because Lineage and Legacies, the F arc is chapter 9. But yeah, it's something like that, probably. The game doesn't, like, tell you much about the chapters, other than, like, sometimes that saves and stuff. Hey, it's no big deal. We've only been waiting for a week. Only a week! Your skills better be up to par. You seem to be your old self again. I'm glad we waited for you to recover before we took on our mission. Next mission, what is it? Yeah, what is our goal? I mean, we went to Yggdrasil. Like, what do we do now? For all we know, the profits are gone. It should be fairly easy. I wanted to ease you back into the swing of things. Clients are from the Arc of Destiny. Let's head there to hear about the details. Today sure is a great day to take flight. Full speed ahead to the Arc of Destiny. I had a stroke there. Aye, Captain. Oh, Gallows. Back to the Arc of Destiny. I'm in Boot Hill. Should save. Actually, no, I don't need to save. The game literally just saved for me. Good stuff. We're in Chapter 3, apparently. Siegfried coming in? I have a feeling... I don't know if that's the same Siegfried from Wild Arms 1. Other than the fact that their names sound similar, his design looks oddly enough like Siegfried from Wild Arms 1. Surely it's some kind of callback, and he is very well a demon. So, I don't know, I'm just saying. I'd find it really hard to believe if it wasn't just Siegfried, or at least a nod or callback to him. Game's trying to trick me, being like, oh, but this one's with an S instead of a Z, but I've been playing games too long to fall for that kind of trick. How does one get to the Arc of Destiny here? It's down this way. Hopefully the final antagonist isn't out of left field. And based on Wild Arms 1 and 2, I don't think we have anything to worry about, but of course it's possible, I guess. I mean, I have faith in this series. Wild Arms 1, the final villain was not out of left field. The game, like, had the Quarter Knights all the way through. It was Mother and then Siegfried and a little bit of Mother later in the game, but Siegfried was like the last one you fought, but Mother was like a main antagonist too. And then Wild Arms 2 wasn't Odessa. Odessa was like the first half, but the whole point of it was like, technically it was Irving, but the Cooper Belt was like the antagonist, but Irving was the final antagonist, technically speaking. And I think it was done masterfully. I think Wild Arms 2 had like the best tonal shift in any game I could think of in recent memory. So, I mean, Siegfried might just be the final villain. I don't know. We'll see. I can totally see it being Siegfried, but I wouldn't be shocked if something else happened. And it's something else that's the final antagonist. I have my faith in media vision. I understand that you have been wounded. Are you alright? Yes, I'm much better now, thank you. I'm relieved to hear that good health means healthy wings to a drifter. Yeah, this portrait I haven't had a good look at from Lamium here. Well, about your next mission, I would like to request. I would like you to dispose of a mining shaft our order had been operating. It was used to mine for fossil energy, but the cost of running it has far exceeded its potential value. And due to its inactivity, monsters have taken it up as their dwelling. This could escalate into a problem for the neighboring residents. I would like you to dispose of it before the problem gets out of hand. Alright, but please go over the details with us. The order member in charge of the excavation site will relate the details to you. I have entrusted this mission to her, the disposal of the mining shaft, the reward, everything. Understood. We'll do our best not to let you down this time. Haha, don't be too eager. I'm not upset about the previous mission. Thank you, but I still feel we need to make it up to you. Any new dialogue? Sick chair. This reminds me of the egg carrier. This chair reminds me of Eggman's chair, or Robotnik as he's called in Adventure 1, but similar to his chair in the egg carrier. Hello. The mine shaft is located northeast of here. I've heard that it's become a breeding ground for monsters. Please be careful. Northeast, you say? The mine shaft we would like you to demolish is located halfway between Claiborne and Jolly Roger. Helga, who's in charge of the excavation site, should be there. Please ask her about the details of the mission. Alright. Northeast of here, between Jolly Roger and Claiborne. Sounds easy enough. There's a migrant seal I can go pick up over at Little Rock? I don't remember where Little Rock is, but wouldn't hurt to go take a quick trip to Little Rock. It's all the way up there. Do I wanna... Yeah, I think I'll go... I could take a quick trip to Little Rock. Why not? Shouldn't be too hard. It's gonna make our ECN thing stronger. And the ECN thing is gonna come in handy the stronger it is. Because, like, booster kits just increase the amount, while the migrant seals, like, increase the power of said ECN thing. Okay, Little Rock is up this way? Nope. Oh, whoops. I must have went too far. But there's Little Rock. That should be Little Rock. What a name for a town. I guess we are in, like, the wasteland now, so. Well, this is Humphreys Peak. This isn't... But while we're here, we could read the next adventure chapters. We got, like, 2 chapters, I think. It should be Clive's house. Hello, Caitlin. Does my dad come home because he misses me and Mom? Or does he come home so I won't miss him that much? Oh, do I need to be roaming as Clive? I couldn't tie my ribbon good today. Does it look funny? It's hard when you can't see your head. Do I use the chapter? Hey, a book. Will you read it to me? Yes. Let me get myself ready for this. Pour some more spray from my can. At the fountain, class finally ended for the day. Reese, you really look like the pianist Karina Farlane. What does she have? What she does has nothing to do with me. So you're really her son. Hey, can you get me her autograph? I'll even pay you for it. I packed up my books into the bag as I watched Violetta and her friends surround Reese, wearing a helpless look on his face. I understood Reese's feelings about not wanting others to talk about their mothers. I would have stopped them, but I had already promised to meet Marivelle today. Toting my canvas pack, I headed out the school gate. I think I forgot something. I stood there trying to think about it, but since I couldn't remember, it probably wasn't that important. With a light skip, I headed for the sweet shop. I was gonna buy that apple pie I promised Marivelle. I want apple pie. Counting my coins, someone pulled on my sleeve as I was about to take the steaming apple pie. Uh-oh, could it be my teacher? As I timidly turned away, Reese was standing there with his hands on his hips. You shouldn't buy sweets after school. Oh, it's you, Reese. Let me go, please. I playfully put my hands together and winked at him, but Reese looked at me with a stern face. No way, it's against school rules. Darn, why is he being such a goody-goody? I pulled my sleeve away from him. Don't be so picky, you're getting on my nerves. I just wanted to, you know. He flinched away, but rebutted in a small voice. I can't hear you, speak up. I took the pie out of the lady's hands, who was taken aback by our conversation. Reese called my name as I ran away, but the voice was soon lost in the distance. The soft sunlight falling on the rooftop deck was as clear as glass. The sky above us was blue as a robin's egg. Robin's eggs are blue? As I enjoyed the sunbath, Marivelle cast a side glance at me. If it were winter, the sun would have already set. Griped Marivelle, as she looked up the sun through her sunglasses. She's also wearing a costume today to shield her from the sun. Yeah, probably, I answered passively as I held the craft in my left hand and measured the wind with my right fingertip. There's no sincerity in your words. Not answering to that, I aimed the craft at the sky. The sound of my heart pounding rings in my head. I heard Marivelle hold her breath. A gentle east wind blew on my cheeks. Then, feeling a gusty wind coming, I let the craft go with a holler. Go! The craft sliced through the winds and flew down with a great speed down into the inner port of Crimson Castle. The autumn sun fell as I searched feverishly for the craft. Wandering around with a lamp that red and blue lent me, Maribel, who was out of her costume by now, called my name. Jack. He stood there silently as we looked down into the beautiful mosaic patterned fountain where the broken craft lay. What did I do wrong? I mumbled to myself as I stepped into the fountain and picked up the craft. We'll look into that later. Jack, you'll catch a cold if you don't come out of the water, said Maribel with a kind and gentle voice. When I thought about it later, it was that kindness that triggered it. But at that time, I stupefied by sudden tears gushing from my eyes. I'm gonna be honest, no idea what that word means. Jack? Maribel called me with a wondering tone as I stood still in the fountain. Seeing my face, she slightly held her breath. Thankfully, she didn't say a word. Ooh, nice picture. Oh wait, I didn't want to stop. That was fun. I thought I can look at the portrait better. My bad. I wanted to get a look at the portrait better. Alright, don't press touchpad this time, Nova. Wordless, I sat on the edge of the fountain and tried to wipe the endless flow of tears with my sleeves. Jack used this. Sitting next to me, she softly handed me her handkerchief. Will you listen to my story? She nodded quietly. I'm obsessed with aircrafts because a long time ago, my mother, who was a migrant worker in Slayheim, bought me a model aircraft as a gift. Maribel's face was hidden from the backlight, so I was always playing with the aircraft. I started modifying it so it can fly farther, and it made me feel as I could fly with it to my mother. But I always failed, failure after failure. I feel so lousy and worthless on my helplessness. There, Jack, it might be so, but her words stopped abruptly. Who's there? A small scream was heard from the shadows, surprised by Maribel's incisive voice. For a moment, complete silence fell over the area. Maribel stood in front of me and yelled, "Give up and show yourself." Out from behind the bushes came Reese Farlane. I'm sorry, you forgot your homework, so I wanted to hand it to you. All the blood in my body rushed into my face. Of all the people, he had to be the one to listen in. You've been eavesdropping. My earlobes were hot from embarrassment. I didn't mean to. The pounding vessels in my head blocked his words. Reese continued to apologize, but I pushed him aside and ran to the transporter. A sudden rush of weightlessness struck. The next second, the world turned white. A week went by, completely ignored Reese, who was giving me an apologetic glance every once in a while. I wasn't happy about the fact he got to know Maribel after that either. I thought to myself, hey, grow up, but I'm still just a kid. Today, Maribel promised to fix the noise on my grandmother's radio. Tossing my textbooks into the pack, I saw Violetta coming towards me. Hey, don't rush so much or you'll... Hey Jack, Reese is gonna come to my house and play the violin for us. Would you like to, Just as I thought, Violetta tripped on my pack and crashed loudly. Violetta, what's with the scary look, Jack? Fine, I'll pay for the damages, just a cheap toy. Why, the nerves, something snapped inside of me. It's not about the money, you know how much effort I put into it. You know how much I treasured it. Hey, is this something to get that upset about? It's just a piece of junk no matter how you look at it. That's not the problem, you spoiled brat. I continued in my head as I stuck my shaking hand into my pack. As I expected, the craft was broken into bits. Luckily, Grandma Dahlia's radio was undamaged and its mahogany finish glowed in the sunlight. With both bitterness and relief mixed together, I stood up without saying a word. Maribel invited me to the underground laboratory today. Now this is amazing. There were many kinds of monsters inside water tanks lined up against the wall. It was an unearthly sight. Haha, this one can only live underwater. Can you see its lungs? The Vermilion over there, contrary to its appearance, has a refined taste for good music and will behave itself when you play some music for it. Boy, that's amusing. Maribel walked up to a metallic workbench and stopped. Dear me, I forgot to call my assistants. I'm going back to get red and blue, so stay right there. Don't touch any of the machines, Jack. I knew she was having fun showing me around, but to be so immersed to forget about her assistants. Okay, I got it. She gave me a worried look as I chuckled, but turned around and went up the stairs. This place is really something. I looked around again at the seemingly endless row of specimen tanks. The moonlight passing through the water tank lit the whole place blue. It was unreal, even mystifying. Releasing my breath, I leaned against the wall behind me. Then along with the small alarm, a plate full of switches came rising up. What is it? Did I push a button when I leaned back? Anyway, I better put this thing back before Maribel returns. I approached the panel and tried to push it back into the floor, then suddenly... I literally jumped by the sudden alarm. What's the matter? Maribel came dashing into the lab holding a toolbox in her arms. Acknowledging what happened in the room, her face immediately turned blue. Jack, why did you release the monster? What's that? I just tried to push this panel back in. The Vermilion's out of its tank. What? This is bad. If it gets to the transporter, it'll attack the town. Oh my god, I felt the blood draining from my face. Maribel, can't we do something? Jack, I'll activate the device to put it back into its tank with red and blue. I'll come after I'm done. You try to stop it from getting near the transporter. I got it. I ran up the stairs, skipping a step with each jump. My footprints in the court, headed straight for the transporter. Teleporter, same difference. Despite its lumpy appearance, this monster is pretty darn smart. Darn it, cursing, I followed its footsteps to the transporter, but a bad feeling brewed in my heart. Materializing at the outskirts of town, I ran full speed after the monster. Under the moonlit street, I found the monster confronting Reese and Violetta. Turned towards them, it opened its large mouth gleefully to feast on its terrified prey. As my brain shook with despair, the words Maribel said earlier struck me like lightning. It will behave itself when you play beautiful music. Reese, play the violin. Jack, why are you here? Violetta, I'll explain that later. Please do it, Reese. Please, that's a beautiful image. It reminds me of Valkyrie Profile, honestly. I clasped my hands together and prayed. Reese readied his bow, and with a flowing swing, a moment later, the violin started to swing. The beautiful melody out of his violin brought all time to a halt. Like a cat fawning over his master, the monster let out a small cry and crouched in front of Reese. At the same moment, balls of light, like fireflies, covered the monster. The silhouette of the Vermilion slowly fading away. When I looked around, I found Maribel's blonde shadow by a tree. I pointed my thumb, returning the thumbs up sign. She disappeared into the darkness. The last passage of the melody finished, I slowly walked towards Reese. While putting his violin into the case, he looked up a little surprised, with his green eyes wide open. While putting his violin into the case, he looked up a little surprised. I read that already. My bad. I've been reading so much already. It's a little embarrassing, but there was something I had to say. I steadied myself and bowed my head down. Thank you, Reese. I was wrong about you. I took you for a coward. Really, really sorry. Saying everything in one breath, I lifted my face and nervously looked at him. Reese was smiling. Don't worry, I was at fault too. I even thought you were a crybaby, but really stubborn at heart. Don't remind me. I turned bright red and scratched my head. Thanks, that was fun. Alright, I'm not reading chapter 4 right now. I will die if I read all those back to back. I only have one more chapter anyway, but I need to space those out. Or I will die.